Here are your instructions for your Game 1 midterm assignment. I do have a finished file here that I'll use to demonstrate to show you what's expected. But the first thing you should do is download the assets that are provided, and I have them right here, and just drag them all into your file system. I already have them, but just drag them all in so that you have everything you need before you start to create. Okay? And then save your file immediately and call it last name underscore midterm. Okay, so I'm going to just play it right now and demonstrate a finished version. And then I'll talk around how it's built. So what we have here is an environment with a background and a tile map layer creating the terrain. And we do have a character body 2D node here that is animated. So again, the sprites, the graphics, they will all be provided to you. Now, when it starts, you'll hear the background music playing, and our little character will start in the air and drop and then land on the first platform. And with the left and right arrow keys, I want you to have it so that it can move left and right and jump with the space bar. Okay. There is a pre-built script provided that creates these features when you generate your character body 2D node. All right. And then I'm just going to have them run along the terrain. And then at the end of the scene here, we've got an animated pineapple. And you can see here over in my scene tree that it is its own scene as well. And the idea here is that when I collide with the pineapple, I'll be triggered to jump to a new scene. So let's just do that now. And there we go. So this is actually a new scene. And it's very basic. It's just got a background element and a label with "you win" on it. And that little music that you heard, that little trumpet music. Okay, so let me close this and I'll talk a little bit around how it's built. Of course, we have our main game node here, and just use the generic nodes when you create these nodes. And inside of there, we have our background, which is the texture rect node. Make it full screen, and once you've done that, then make it even a bit wider, like about another 50% wider. After that, create a tile map layer, and use the provided graphics for that. And just create a terrain there. I would like you to enclose all of it so that our character can't run off the world. Okay, so it will be contained because you will have a wall around there using any of the tiles that are provided. Okay. Now I'll remind you, you'll also have to set up the collisions for the tile map, right? Otherwise our character will just fall through it like butter. And I'll give you a hint here. For that, you do that in the tile set. All right, and you'll have to actually go up. When you clicked on tile set, you'll actually have to click it. I'm giving you a very strong clue here, and click add element. Now I already have one, so I'm not going to create another one, right? Add element. Then once you've done that with your paint window, you come down here and you go to physics, physics layer 0, and then you can select the tiles you wish to have a collision feature on, and I suggest just putting it on all of them. Okay, but if you don't do that, there will be no collision feature. So that's going to be the biggest hint that I give you today to help you along, and that way again your collisions will work with respect to your tile map. When you're done that, go back to your tile map to repaint or paint. I'll give you another little clue here as well. Right clicking is like the eraser, okay, like that. Or I can just come back in here with my pencil on and fill that in. So right clicking is your shortcut for erasing in the tile map layer. Then of course we've got our character body 2D right here, and it is also its own scene. And you can see here with the icon that it is an instance of that scene. So why don't I jump over to that momentarily. I have it open in a tab, and again, it's a character body 2D node, and you'll have one animated sprite 2D as a child and a collision shape 2D as a child. And if I click on the animated sprite, again, provide an animation based, I would suggest the one called idle, and set this frame rate to 20 frames per second, and remember to turn on the autoplay button right here. Okay. I also resized mine, so let me just zoom in. I do suggest you resize it, but resize it in the environment when you first initially create it, and then convert it to a scene later. But what I want you to also do after resizing it is to sharpen the pixels, and I'll remind you that's done in the texture. and you can set filter to nearest. I don't mind telling you that, and that's what gets your pixels all sharp again. It will also need a collision shape created that is similar in shape to the Sprite 2D. Okay, it does have a script in there as well. So back to my main node. The other elements in here is that once you create that character body 2D as a scene, come back to it and add a child camera 2D. And with respect to the camera itself, I'm going to suggest that you go into the limits and turn off, or turn the left, the top, and the bottom to 0 pixels. That will hold it in place when you're playing it back. The other element is the audio element, and again, back, we're still in the main node. Child of the main node is the audio stream player, and the theme music will be provided for that as well. You'll have to create that in the script, also in the main node script. And then our last element here in our game is the pineapple, which is an area 2D script node, but it is also made into its own scene, and you can see that here. So it resides down in my file system as a scene, and I believe I have it right here. Yeah, and same idea with the pineapple, right? Resize it, and then sharpen the texture on it, and then of course you have your collision shape. Okay, and that's the prize at the end of the game on the right side. You'll notice there's a signal on there. If I go into the pineapple here, the signal would be attached to the Area 2D node. I'll give you that hint. And the nodes are in here, and it is the on body entered. Okay, and you'll have to address that in the script as well. Okay, so that signal is for detecting the collision, by the way. And once there is a collision, based on that collision, you will be triggering the player to jump to another scene, and that other scene is the win scene right here. And that scene is very simple. Again, it's just a generic node with a texture rect as a background filling the screen. And again, with the backgrounds, I want you to set this one to tile and sharpen it with the texture. And then the text is just a label. And again, you can do your label settings over in the inspector, make it quite large, and put it in the middle. And then finally down here we have the happy music. When you jump to the scene, you'll hear those trumpets play, and that is based on this audio stream player playing when this scene starts. Okay, again, that would be done in the script. I have renamed it. It'll be easier when you apply it to the script if you name it, but you don't have to. Okay, so those are the main scenes. Those are the scenes, the main node, the pineapple, the windscreen, and of course the character body with the animation. The main node, of course, is the main scene, and that's where the game will start to play from. Okay, so I'll run it quickly one more time. And you should hear the music as soon as it starts. Our little guy should fall from the sky. Left and right arrows move it left and right. Spacebar moves it up and down. You can change those settings, the intensity, if you want in the script. You don't have to. You can keep the defaults as well. Okay, so just have it so that it's not too hard for me to run across the screen. And then finally encounter the animated pineapple, where when I come into contact with it, I will jump scenes and end up in the You Win scene, which plays music. And that is your assignment. You have 1 week to complete that and hand that in on Canvas.